Hello everyone, this is Witchy Gossip. There's been a lot of witchy gossip about the Rosary. A lot of witchy gossip about beads. A lot of religions have beads to remind them how many times they've recited their prayers. And there's a lot of controversy about different scriptures, about, not repeating things and like the pagans and the heathen. Let's get something clear. If you're using a calculator, you're using this. If you're not doing all the math in your head, if you're using computers, then you're using this. It's just a counting system. Abacus, I think, in the old days or something like that. People didn't, who were pagans, heathens, were simply people who lived in the valley and weren't educated. They were used as slaves and they weren't educated. So, they, in order to help them, they were given this so that they could count, because they didn't know how to count, and because they didn't know how to read and write. They weren't educated. So people that haven't been educated have to utilize these. Then after a while, it gets passed down from generation to generation, and then it becomes full of power of ancestors. It's not so much ancestor worship as it's ancestor assistance. Because one, according to Kabbalah, one does not need a body to exist. You all know that. Okay. Now, there's also, all kind of popes on here. I can't see all of them because, there's so many here. I'd have to really look at who's on here. But as far as I can tell, there's Pope John Paul II, who's now a saint. And there's, because Pope Francis I declared him a saint, he and John Paul XXIII declared them saints. But there's also Pope Benedict is on here. And, y'all should stop picking on Pope Benedict. Because, just because he was a shy person, it doesn't mean y'all should pick on him. And because Pope Francis is a tall gentleman, his body image is probably more fatherly and less son-like, more fatherly, more like the father, less like the son. A smaller person would feel more like the son, like Napoleon. These are, and the way things are run are going to be determined by one's own personal perceptions and sensations. So a very tall person like Barack Obama, Abraham Lincoln, Pope Francis I, they're going to be more like father figures. Whereas a person who's more, who's not so tall, even Arnold Schwarzenegger is not a giant. He's a giant in our eyes, but he's not a super tall person. But he makes himself larger than life by his ambience, by his presence. The good gossip is, I've seen him only twice in person. Once, I stood behind him in line at an LA cafe. And once, I was driving with my stepmother Edna. We were driving through, I can't remember where we were going, coming from Santa Monica, going somewhere. And he and his wife, Maria Shriver, were coming out of a furniture store. And they were crossing the street in front of us, and he came out and he held our car like this, for us to stop to let his wife go, go past. And some people might have thought that was rude, but I didn't. I thought it was lovely because, he is larger than life. He's made himself by his will. He's been a hero for my whole life. And I felt honored that he was honoring his wife that much to do that for her. And he was very gallant. He was like a knight in shining armor, and I thought it was lovely. Okay, that's witchy gossip. That's my hero. Okay. All right. Until our next installment, keep gossiping. It makes the world go round.